All right, good evening, folks, and welcome to the final home meet of the 2019 season, Goffstown Grizzlies Swim. We're here at the Allard YMCA swimming pool in Goffstown. First event of the night, as usual, event number 1, the girls' 200-yard medley relay. Heat 1 of 1 in lane 1 for Merrimack. We have Abigail Forbes in lane 2 for John Stark. We have Casey in lane 3 for Merrimack. We have Katie Selby. Lane 4 for Goffstown is Jessica Smith. Lane 5 is Lily Fifield, and lane 6 for Goffstown is Eden Locke. Right now we have Jessica Smith on her backstroke. Will touch the wall first. She will be followed by her teammate Jess McGregor. I am joined as usual by Rick Castano.
Hello, Jeremy.
Hello.
How are you today?
A little warm. Allard Center is a little warmer than usual tonight. Otherwise, doing well.
Excellent. Getting ready for the big snowstorm coming up.
Yes.
All right. Oh.
Teams we have in the event tonight are Goffstown, John Stark, Concord, and Merrimack. 4 teams competing. As I mentioned a moment ago, this is our final home meet of the season. It is also the annual seniors night. So as you see the camera footage, you'll notice that there are balloons and banners and other such things around the facility in honor of this year's Goffstown and John Stark seniors. Right now in lane 3, looks like Muriel Lubelchik of Merrimack touches the wall and will be followed up by Caitlin LaValle. Joanna Dillaway in lane 4 is going to try to catch up. She's right now about a 2 body length behind. It does look like Merrimack will take this event. And followed by Goffstown in lane 4. Lane 3, lane 2, John Stark, coming up for 3rd place.
Go back and forth. Actually, you're pretty good at it.
Okay, and that is the conclusion of event number 1. Event number 2, the boys' 200-yard medley relay, the same thing that we just watched the girls do. We have 2 teams competing in 1 heat, Merrimack and Goffstown. Lanes 3 is Merrimack and lane 4 is Goffstown. In the water for Goffstown to start off is Alex Estano. And for Merrimack, we have John Hillard. And they will be starting off with their backstroke. Alex taking an immediate lead, already a full body length ahead. Will make his turn at the wall and head back down. Nice strong lead opened up early on by Alex Estano.
The Merrimack team is actually seeded higher with a faster time. So it'll be interesting to see where they kind of fall out.
Merrimack coming in with a seed time of 1:58.15 to Goffstown's 2:01.12. In the water for Goffstown right now, Ethan Edwards.
Ethan Edwards, one of our seniors that will be honored later on in the program. His first year with the team and has done surprisingly well.
He has. We've actually been talking about Ethan at each home meet. He just does not cease to surprise us. He's doing extremely well. Really wish he had joined the team earlier, and I'll bet you at this point he probably does as well.
Yep. So it looks like the Merrimack team has gained a little bit of made up some of the time.
They have, and in the water now for Goffstown is Elliot Anderson, and in the water for Merrimack is Gavin Roby. Elliot, of course, very strong with this stroke. Hopefully he can hang on to that lead. And he certainly will. He's at about a 2 body length lead right now. He will be followed by Matthew Jones, who will round out the event with the freestyle. And finishing it up for Merrimack is Andrew Winters. Matthew Jones maintaining that lead at the wall, making his turn.
Unless some sort of burst of energy from the Merrimack team, the Goffstown team will take first place.
Definitely not enough pool left now. And Goffstown pulls it out with a time of 2:01.82, if I'm reading that correctly.
You are correct.
So about 0.7 seconds slower than their original seed time. I'd say that's fairly consistent.
Yes.
Merrimack finishing up with a time of 2:07.63. Event 3, girls 200-yard freestyle. 1 heat, 6 swimmers. With Merrimack in lane 1, Paige Latoile. Concord High School lane 2, Lexi Quinn. Lauren Brennan in lane 3 for Merrimack. Jess McGregor lane 4 for Goffstown. Charlotte Goebel in lane 5 for Concord. And Morgan Flett in lane 6 for Merrimack. Right now we've got Lauren Brennan of Merrimack in lane 3 with a pretty decent lead.
Jess McGregor, another senior and one of the co-captains of the girls team. She, I think she's still looking for a cut time for the 200 free. I do not have that.
Okay.
Let's see if the wonders of the internet age. Let me see if I can look it up.
And right now Lauren Brennan in lane 3 for Merrimack is hanging on to a pretty sizable lead. Lanes 2 and 4. Pretty neck and neck. Again, lane 2 is Lexi Quinn for Concord. Lane 4 is Jess McGregor for Goffstown. Coming down for the final run. Lauren Brennan will take this one easily. It's going to be a race between Merrimack and Goffstown in lanes 2 and 4, though. Waiting to see between Lexi Quinn and Jess McGregor who will touch the wall first. There is just no separation between them whatsoever. And as they come down a little bit closer to our vantage point, I can see Jess McGregor has picked up the lead. As predicted, Lauren Brennan in lane 3 will take the win. Jess McGregor has now opened up a lead over lane 2. And she did take second place. Jess McGregor in lane 4, second place. And third place goes to Lexi Quinn in lane 3. Looked like we had a little bit of a confusion there in lane 6. I think the swimmer believed that they were on their last wall touch, but they were not there yet. Again in lane 1, we have Paige Latoile of Merrimack. Lane 5 is Charlotte Goebel of Concord, and lane 6 is Morgan Flett of Merrimack. A lot of support from their teammates to get them down to the finish. And they touch. Looks like lane 5 will take the position and lane 6 bringing it up. Next event, boys 200-yard freestyle. 2 swimmers, 1 heat. Jay Blasco for Concord High and Ben Haddad of Merrimack. Jay Blasco will be in lane 3. He's coming in with a time of 2:05.98. Ben Haddad of Merrimack in lane 4, coming in with a time of 2:19.04. That's about 14-second difference between the 2 swimmers for their seed times.
Aha. I got the qualification times. All right, so we are on the 200 boys freestyle. Cut time is 2:16.99. So right now, Jay Blasco actually already has a cut time of 2:05. Ben Haddad would be looking for a cut time with his seed time of 2:19. So we'd be looking to shave 3 seconds off in order to qualify for states. So when I talk about cut time, it means there's a set of time standards that the NHIAA has established as qualification times for a swimmer to participate in the state finals at the end of the season.
You mentioned that was 2:16.
It was 2:16, correct.
So again, Ben Haddad coming in at 2:19.04. As Rick mentioned, he should shave a few seconds off that time if he's looking to qualify for states. Jay Blasco already there with a seed time of 2:05.98.
Merrimack swim team coming in with the larger of the 4 teams here. But based on the number of swimmers, this entire event is going to be over fairly soon, earlier than most. The last event is scheduled to go off about 8:30 in the evening, but typically we're after 9 o'clock or so.
Yeah, given a start time of 7, that's a little over an hour and a half. That is scheduled to be a very fast event. So Jay Blasco for Concord has touched the wall at 2:12.45. That might be 46, a little difficult to see. So he's about 7 seconds slower than his seed time. And Ben Haddad of Merrimack will come in
about 2:38.
About 2:30, yeah.
2:37.82.
So a bit of a slow night for both swimmers. Next event number 5, girls 200-yard individual medley. 3 swimmers, all 3 swimmers from Merrimack. Lillian Langlois, Katie Selby, and Caitlin LaValle. Katie Selby has a time of 2:33.82. The other 2 swimmers are coming in with no time.
The Division II qualification time for states for the girls is 2:39.99.
Okay, so Katie has that easily by about 6 seconds. We'll see what the other girls can pull off. Right now it is Katie in lane 3 maintaining the lead, but not by much. Her teammate in lane 2, Lillian Langlois, staying pretty close to her. And I think that right there is a perfect spot to give our weekly warning about our name pronunciation.
Yes.
Folks, we do try. Katie Selby has now opened up a sizable lead now that they've switched to the backstroke. She's maintaining her strength in the stroke sequence. Lillian has fallen off by about 3, almost 4 body lengths now. And their teammate Caitlin LaValle in lane 4, keeping up.
Into the third leg, which is the breaststroke. Katie keeping a strong domination on this event.
The individual medley, particularly at the 200-yard individual medley, doesn't get a lot of participation. There's not a lot of folks who enjoy getting into the water to do all 4 strokes, one right after the other, for 200 straight yards. It's definitely a test of strength, a test of stamina. Also a little bit of a test of memory.
Yep.
As you trying to keep track of where you are in the water and which stroke you're supposed to be swimming.
It's also a game where you have to kind of put the pieces all into place, because a lot of the swimmers, they're only allowed to do 2 individual events, 2 relays. A lot of members actually do the relay, which is the first event of the night. The first event of the night went off at 7:05, and here we are at 7:20. 15 minutes later, they're swimming another event.
Right.
So it can be tiring.
Absolutely, yeah. We really saw that play out in last week's away event up in Claremont. We competed against the Stevens High School team up in Claremont, and the first part of that event moved so quickly that we saw some swimmers back in the water within about 10 minutes of swimming their first event. You could definitely see the fatigue. So Katie Selby took the event with a time of 2:32.94. That beats her previous time of 2:33. Lane 2, Lillian has come in with 3:02.5, and in lane 4, Caitlin was just ahead of her at 2:58. Event 6, the boys 200-yard individual medley. 2 swimmers, as we mentioned, not an overly popular event. In lane 3 for Concord High School, James LeMahieu, and for Merrimack in lane 4, John Hillard.
The state cut times for the 200 IM for the boys is 2:34.99, so 5 seconds faster than the girls. And as it seems that James LeMahieu has already qualified for this event, John Hillard has not swam this event. This is his first time this season, so he has no time. So he'll be looking for a qualification time. It's starting to become a little bit of a timetable as well, because there's 2 more swim meets from at least from Goffstown's schedule left after tonight in order to get those cut times and position yourself in such a way that you're going to make a run for the medals.
So time is running out. They're looking to qualify. Lane 3 for Concord, James LeMahieu. Still maintaining that sizable lead. John Hillard in lane 4 for Merrimack. About a third of a pool length behind.
I would chalk it up to being senior night, but there is a lot of fans here tonight.
There is. There is.
And a lot of students, actually.
Yep.
A lot of parents, grandparents.
And yet, in spite of that, when I look out over the pool area, I see a tremendous amount of blue. That Merrimack team is just wow. There's a lot of swimmers. James LeMahieu in lane 3 for Concord High School, coming down for his final stroke of the event, the freestyle.
He has a commanding lead over this event. He's got a full pool length.
He's really opened that up. Heading down for his final touch of the wall. At about 2:23 right now. Boy, that's going to be close. 26, 2:20. He will not beat his previous time. Oh, wow, I stand corrected. So he came in with a time of 2:27.29, and he touches the wall at 2:27.26. 0.03 seconds faster. Boy, if that's not splitting hairs, I don't know what is. John Hillard from Merrimack will come in with his first time of the event at 2:50.81.
All right, next up is the splash and dash.
Yes, it is.
This is literally where the hundredths of a second count.
Girls 50-yard freestyle. We have 8 heats of this event just in the girls alone. This is pretty much the most popular event of the meets. Gives the swimmers an opportunity to just get in the water and go.
The state qualification time for the 50 freestyle for the girls is 28:49.
28:49. I don't see any swimmers. Oh, nope. Heat 8. Yeah, Heat 8 is the only one with a few swimmers that are below that. But that's why they call it states, folks. Best of the best.
Not everybody gets a trophy.
Exactly. That is absolutely correct.
I think when I read through the preliminaries, I think just about all the Goffstown swimmers, both male and female, are swimming this event tonight.
Wow. Well, here for Heat 1 of 8. Lane 1, we have Phoenix Irish for Goffstown. Lane 2 is, I'm hoping I'm saying this correctly, Gori Manon of Merrimack. Lane 3 is Lillian McDonough of Merrimack. Lane 4 is Katarina Ahms of Concord High School. Lane 5 is Madeline Curran of Merrimack, and lane 6 is Allie Steins of Merrimack. And right now, lane 3, as expected, Lillian McDonough of Merrimack. Got about almost a full body length lead over lane 4, Katarina Ahms. And she will touch the wall with a time of 42:38. That beats her previous time of 42:81. And Phoenix Irish for Goffstown in lane 1, battling her way to that finish line. And Phoenix will touch for a time of 1:14.36. Phoenix struggling a little bit tonight. Her previous time was 52.96. Heat 2 of 8. Sorry about that, folks. Heat 2 of 8. Lane 1 for Concord High School, Sarah Rappel. Lane 2 is Andrea Hunt for Merrimack. Lane 3 is Sophie Kuchenbecker for Concord. Lane 4 is Naomi Prevost for John Stark. Lane 5 is Raylene Giordano for Merrimack. And lane 6 is Joanna LeMahieu for Concord. This is one of those events where if you don't get the names out quickly, it'll be over and on to the next heat.
Exactly. As a reminder, how these are set up from a heat standpoint, the lower heats, 1, 2, 3, 4, they go slowest to fastest. So you have a seed time based on previous events, previous swims, and you get seeded slowest to fastest. So in heat 1, you have some of the slower swimmers trying to get faster, and then in heat 8 of 8, you have the more of the faster swimmers.
Right. Well, here in heat 3 of 8, we have Merrimack in lane 1, Megan Senecal. Concord in lane 2, Katie Gaudette. Lane 3 is Alyssa Sanguillo for Goffstown. Lane 4 is Emily Pierce of Merrimack. Lane 5 is Alexa Gardner for Merrimack. And lane 6 is Hannah Champagne of John Stark. And lane 2, Katie Gaudette of Concord will take the win there with a time of 34:27. Heat 4 of 8. Lane 1, swimming for Merrimack. Actually, lanes 1 through 3 are all Merrimack. Adele Alexander. Lane 2, Abigail Forbes. And lane 3, Shelby Maston. Lanes 4 and 5 are Goffstown, Hannah Laidlaw and Rita Peace. And lane 6 is Concord with Lily Fifield. And right now it is Shelby Maston of Merrimack who will touch the wall and kick back.
Not much of a lead, though.
Not much at all.
She's trying to hold off the two Goffstown swimmers in lanes 4 and 5.
Hannah Laidlaw in lane 4 is neck and neck with her teammate Rita Peace in lane 5. But it will be Shelby Maston who touches the wall first, but just barely. 33:58. Lane 2 is Hannah Laidlaw, 34:24. And lane 5,
Lane 1.
Yeah, lane 1 took first place. Adele Alexander, took third place. Heat 5 of 8. John Stark, lane 1, Maddie Duclos. Stephanie Matt for Merrimack in lane 2. Hannah Prevost for Merrimack in lane 3. Casey, I apologize, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, in lane 4 for John Stark. Mary Morin for Concord in lane 5. And lane 6 is Merrimack, Kayla Sanchez.
It's a pretty even heat. Looks like lane 3, Hannah Prevost has probably got a slight lead, but lane 6 is coming up strong.
Wow, that's going to be close. And lane 6 touched first. Lane 6 with a time of 33:19. And that was Kayla Sanchez of Merrimack.
And when we talk about hundredths of a second,
yes,
second place was 33:20.
Wow. Sometimes just that last little leg kick at the end can be enough to get your finger to the wall. Heat 6 of 8. Lane 1, Eden Locke for Goffstown. Lane 2, Jessie Mayhew for Merrimack. Lane 3, Lily Carteret for Goffstown. Lane 4, Lauren Dusevich for Concord High. Lane 5 is Acacia Locke for Goffstown, and lane 6 is Kaylee Thistle for Merrimack. Right now, Lauren Dusevich for Concord High touched the wall first, but Lily Catterett of Goffstown got out into the water a little bit ahead of her.
Yep.
Can she hang on to it?
She's got a slight lead over the...
She will hang on to it. Nice.
31-20.
31-20 beats her previous time of 31-36. Heat 7 of 8. In the water for Goffstown in lanes 1 and 2, Justine Watterson and Joanna Dillaway. Lane 3 is Anna Ishak for John Stark. Lane 4 is Melanie Hutchison for Merrimack. Lane 5 and 6 also for Merrimack, Stacia Wolchiak and Natalie Desolitz.
We have a scratch.
We do have a scratch. Lane 3, Anna Ishak for John Stark. Does not appear to be in the event. That makes it a race between lanes 2 and 5 from what I can see. What do you think, Rick? You're sitting just a touch higher than I am.
It is going to be too close because lane 2 just came up to take first.
Lane 2 took it, Joanna Dillaway of Goffstown. And the final heat, as Rick was explaining earlier, this will be the heat comprised of the fastest swimmers. In the water for John Stark in lane 1 will be Sarah Ferguson, Muriel Lebelchik for Merrimack in lane 2, Maeve Hunt for John Stark in lane 3. Lane 4 is Abby O'Brien for Concord. And rounding out lanes 5 and 6 for Goffstown are Jessica Smith and Jenna Sheeta. Maeve Hunt of John Stark touches the wall and makes her return first. But she is getting some competition from lane 2 and 5.
Maeve Hunt has it. 26.99.
Rick called it. Maeve Hunt in lane 3 for John Stark. And that's it for the girls. As Rick was mentioning just a few minutes ago, that's one of the faster events of the night. We just went through 8 heats in just a matter of minutes. Event number 8, the boys 50-yard freestyle will only have 3 heats for the boys. In the water for heat 1 for John Stark. In lane 2, Carter Duclos. Lane 3 is Ethan Edwards for Goffstown. And for Merrimack in lane 4 is Ethan Matt. Ethan versus Ethan.
The state qualification time for the boys in the 50 free is 25.99.
Okay. Ethan Edwards for Goffstown coming in at 31.51. He is maintaining his lead, but not by much. He's got to dig deep on this last 20 feet.
I don't know if he held off Johnston.
He held it off. Boy, not by much though.
Not by much.
All right, nice job, Ethan Edwards. Heat 2 of 3. Parker Bell for Goffstown in lane 2. Jace Castellano for Concord High in lane 3. Matthew Jones in lane 4 for Goffstown. And Andrew Winters in lane 5 for Merrimack.
All 4 swimmers are looking for a cut time for the final qualification.
And Jace Castellano for Concord High in lane 3 touches the wall and makes his return. Followed closely by Parker Bell in lane 2. And right.
Lane 3, 27.72. And lane 2, Parker Bell in second place at 27.79.
Excellent. Heat 3 of 3. We'll have all 6 lanes going in this final heat. Joshua Miller for Concord High in lane 1. Elliot Anderson and Alex Estano in lanes 2 and 3 for Goffstown. Toby Stevens and Gavin Roby in lanes 4 and 5 for Merrimack. And Ryan Lau rounding it out in lane 6 for Goffstown.
All swimmers, with the exception of Ryan Lau in lane 6, have a qualification time for states. So Ryan will be looking to shave about 1.5 seconds off his time.
Always fun watching events where Alex and Elliot get to swim at the same time. A little bit of a friendly rivalry between these two Goffstown teammates.
Spoiler alert, this is the first of 2 tonight.
So it'll be interesting.
And not only are they racing this race, they are racing the next event.
Okay.
They're going back to back.
So Rick has looked farther down the schedule than I have. And at the horn, swimmers in the water. This is going to be a fast race. Right now we've got Alex Estano in lane 3 touching the wall and heading back first. Followed closely by Joshua Muller in lane 1.
Should take this one.
And it will be Alex Estano in lane 3 with a time of 23:88. Just barely beating his seed time of 23:90. Second place will go to Joshua Muller of Concord High in lane 1.
Third place is, what was his name? Toby Stevens of Merrimack, and Elliot Anderson rounded up the top 4, 25:77.
All right. Now moving on to something completely different. Event number 9, the girls 100-yard butterfly. We'll only have 1 heat for this event. 4 swimmers in the water. Lily Catterett of Goffstown in lane 2, Lauren Brennan from Merrimack in lane 3, Rhea Burns in lane 4 for Concord, and Melanie Hutchison in lane 5 for Merrimack.
The qualification time for the states for the 100 butterfly for the girls is 1:13:99.
Not sure if we're taking a bit of an unscheduled break here, but it looks like we may be.
Oh, that's right. There is a 5-minute, usually like a 5 or 10-minute break right after the 50 free.
That's right, there is.
So we'll be back in a couple of minutes.
All right, welcome back, folks. So in lieu of a traditional break between events, tonight we'll be having some events to honor the Goffstown seniors.
Goffstown and John Stark.
Goffstown and John Stark, correct.
So lining up is Ryan Lau, Parker Bell, Ethan Edwards, Justine Watterson, I don't know all of the John Stark girls team. Jess McGregor from Goffstown, Phoenix Irish.
Bit of a tradition here, get them in the water, have them swim from one end to the other.
Ethan Edwards being somewhat of a showboat.
Yes, he is, corkscrewing through the water like that. All of these swimmers will be very missed come next season. They've all contributed greatly. They all have an equal role to play in the success of these two teams, Goffstown and John Stark.
So 6 swimmers will be lost to the team next year. That is a huge portion. I think we have like 18 swimmers on the team, 18 or 20.
Right. Yeah, it's a far cry from day one, that very first practice. We were surprised by how many swimmers showed up for that first practice, and it definitely has whittled down since then. Coach Jess Croto handing out the tiaras to the swimmers. It's always a bit of a happy event for the seniors and their teammates. one of the first send-off events that they will have during their final year of high school.
Can you hear the announcements?
Unfortunately, no. I'm hoping that the video audio will be a little bit better.
I think they're announcing. Oh, they're announcing the Merrimack team.
They are doing Merrimack. That's interesting. Bit unusual to have an away team do a recognition like that at someone else's facility. And on screen now you see our parade of seniors passing by under our cameras, followed by Coach Jess.
So it'll be interesting to see if Concord does their recognition tonight too.
It will be, yeah. So we're gonna break away from the Merrimack ritual going on there, just to kind of put the highlight back on our team's swimmers. Doing a little bit of group photos in the kiddie pool here at the Goffstown Allard YMCA Center.
Why don't the boys have flowers?
Well, they at least have tiaras and leis, so.
How come we don't get tiaras?
That's a good question. Now, Alex will be a senior next year, so that's definitely something we will have to arrange during next year's senior event.
To make sure they have tiaras.
Exactly, for the announcer.
Exactly. Actually, Alex and Elliot are the only two male seniors next year, unless somebody joins the team new.
Boy, I'm hoping they do. I mean, it's never a bad time to join the team. I mean, look at Ethan Edwards. He's joining in his senior year and has been a very strong contributor to the team, as we've repeatedly said. Just goes to show that anyone at any time can join the team and put in the effort and have a lot of fun along the way.
Yes. This is a good shot of all the swimmers.
All right, welcome back, folks. We are now moving into event number 9 of the night, which is the girls 100-yard butterfly. In the water for Goffstown in lane 2, Lily Carteret. Lane 3 for Merrimack, Lauren Brennan. Lane 4 for Concord High, Rhea Burns. And lane 5 for Merrimack, Melanie Hutchinson. Right now the race is on between lanes 3 and 4, Lauren Brennan and Rhea Burns. Lauren of Merrimack and Rhea of Concord. With Lily from Goffstown in lane 2 and Melanie Hutchinson in lane 5 for Merrimack again. Lauren Brennan is maintaining her lead, but only by about a body length.
The state qualification time for this event for the 100-yard butterfly girls is 1:13.99.
So Lauren Brennan in lane 3 coming in with a time of 1:05.26, so she is already there.
Rhea Burns is looking to knock about 2.5 seconds off her time in order to qualify.
Don't think she's quite going to make it. Lauren is touching the wall with a time of 1:13.58. Rhea is touching with a time of 1:17.66. Just slightly slower of her previous time of 1:16.34. And in lane 2 for Goffstown, at a time of 1:21.58 is Lily Cataray.
All right, boys and girls, strap it on, because here's the next feature event. Alex and Elliot going at it again in the 100-yard butterfly.
And they're off. In the water for Merrimack in lane 2 is Evan Whaley. Lanes 3 and 4 for Goffstown are Elliot and Alex. In lane 5 for Concord High is James LeMahieu. And right now, it is
Elliot has a slight lead over Alex.
He does, but it is Evan Whaley in lane 2 with the overall lead. And with the touch and the turn, Alex actually got off the wall just a sliver ahead of Elliot, but Elliot maintained his lead in that race between the two of them. But Evan Whaley increasing that lead to about a body length. It all comes down to that final turn at the wall. And it will be Evan Whaley of Merrimack. With a time of 59:31, beating his previous time of 1:06. And in second place is Elliot Anderson, third place is Alex Estano, and fourth is James LeMahieu.
All 4 swimmers, I believe, have a cut time. They qualified for states in that event.
Okay. Event 11, girls 100-yard freestyle. We have 6 heats in this event. Again, it's a freestyle event, so it's a fairly popular one. Heat 1 of 6, lane 2 is Phoenix Irish, and I stand corrected, we have a scratch in lane 2. So lane 3 will be Madeline Curran of Merrimack, and lane 4, Allie Steins, also of Merrimack. So this will be a competition between the two of them.
The state qualification time for the 100 girls freestyle is 1:02.99.
And right now we have Madeline Curran of Merrimack in lane 3 with a very slight lead over her teammate Allie Steins in lane 4. Madeline coming into this event with a seed time of 1:48.66. Allie coming in with a seed time of 2:07.65. As Rick mentioned, the state's qualification time is roughly 1:02. I believe he's verifying that at the moment. One of the great things about the high school swim teams, the overall sport is a sport that pretty much anyone can participate in regardless of skill level. That's the reason that we have heats and reason that things are segmented into timed heats based on various skill levels and previous times. So Madeline will take that event with a time of 1:51.41. Beginning heat 2 of 6, we have 5 swimmers in the water. For Merrimack in lane 1 is Gori Manon. Lane 2 for Concord High is Joanna LeMahieu. Lane 3, 4, and 5, all of Merrimack, are Raylene Giordano, Andrea Hunt, and Lillian McDonough. And it is Joanna LeMahieu in lane 2 who will hit the wall and make her turn first. And she is followed closely by Raylene Giordano in lane 3 of Merrimack. Joanna coming into this event with a seed time of 1:37.27. We'll see if she can beat that here. keeping just a very slight lead over her Merrimack competition in lane 3. It's all going to come down to this last turn. And touching the wall and making her turn. Unless she loses her energy here at the end, it will be Joanna LeMahieu of Concord High in lane 2. And she's losing it. She is losing it. So it looks like it will actually be Raylene Giordano in lane 3 of Merrimack, squeezing out a win right at the end. Time of 127.19, beats her seed time of 132.40 by a little over 5 seconds. Very good showing by Raylene Giordano of Merrimack. Heat 3 of 6 will have 6 swimmers in the water. For Merrimack in lane 1, Morgan Flett, Hannah Champagne in lane 2 for John Stark. Lane 3 will be Alyssa Sangilo for Goffstown. Lanes 4 and 5 are Merrimack, Adele Alexander and Megan Senecal. And lane 6 for John Stark is Naomi Prevost.
So, I think I've told you about my dad. So today he had a surgery getting a skin graft on the wound. It's progressed that far. They're actually now cleaning up the scar tissue. The surgery gets delayed. Well, now he's done. So, what it is, he just gets picked up. And Kathleen's Abigail's basketball game, and he just started. So I can't pull her away. So
No worries at all.
I'm gonna go talk to Alex, make sure he gets a ride home from somebody. And
You can ride home with us if he wants.
yeah,
I'm okay with that.
okay, appreciate it. Yeah, so if you wouldn't mind, I'll just tell him that you're going home with him. Awesome. All right. Thanks, man. I'm out.
All right. Sorry for that little bit of a delay in audio there, folks. Going to have a change of folks at the mic here. Rick Estano is having to unexpectedly depart. So we're going to hand the second mic over to. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Broden.
Hi, I'm Broden McCune. I have commentated on multiple other sports events, but this is my first time doing swim, so it's going to be a fun time. I'm also running camera, too, so
Excellent.
should be very fun.
Welcome aboard for your first broadcast with the swim teams. So we are moving into Heat 4 of 6 in the girls' 100-yard freestyle. In the water for Goffstown in lane 1 will be Rita Peace. Lane 2 for Merrimack, Emily Pierce. Lane 3 for Concord, Katie Gaudette. Lane 4 for Merrimack, Paige Latoile. Lane 5 for Concord is Charlotte Goebel, and lane 6 for Merrimack is Alexa Gardner. And it looks like it will be Katie Gaudette in lane 3. Coming off the wall first and making her turn. In lane 1, Rita Peace for Goffstown is giving her some tough competition, staying only about a half a body length behind. And Katie Gaudette in lane 3 maintaining that lead, but again, only by a little bit. This will come down to how well they make their turns off the wall.
A lot of the events today have come down to that short margin of time where they turn, hit the wall, and bounce off.
And Rita Peace in lane 1, unfortunately losing a little bit of her time, slowing down the fatigue you can see setting in from the previous events. So it will be Katie Gaudette for Concord High in lane 3. Katie coming into this event with a seed time of 1:19.58, and she will touch the wall with a time of 1:18.40. So beating her seed time by a little over a second. Heat 5 of 6. In the water for Goffstown in lane 1 will be Tegan Bevacqua. Lane 2 for Concord High, Lauren Dusevich. Lane 3 for Goffstown, Justine Watterson. Lane 4 and 5 for Merrimack, Lillian Langlois and Kayla Sanchez. And in lane 6 for Goffstown, Hannah Laidlaw.
It's quite fitting as a swimmer to have water right in your name.
Yes. referencing Justine Watterson in lane 3 for Goffstown. This is going to be a very tight race. We've got lanes 2, 3, and 4 neck and neck. Well, we had lanes 2, 3, and 4 neck and neck. Lane 4 getting off the wall just a split second sooner than the competition. That's Lillian Langlois of Merrimack.
That shift from 2, 3, and 4 went to 1, 2, and 3, it almost looks.
And Lillian is breaking open that lead by about a body length ahead of Lauren Dusevic in lane 2. Lillian coming into the event with a seed time of 1:10.21. She will touch the wall for her final run back. And opening up that lead now to about a body length and a half. Lanes 2 and 3, Lauren Dusevic and Justine Watterson staying neck and neck. That's going to be a tight race for the number 2 finish, but it looks right now like Lauren Dusevic of Concord High will have it for the number 2 spot. And in lane 4, Lillian Langlois of Merrimack will touch first. Lane 2, Lauren Dusevic of Concord High taking second place.
That was 0.1 second apart. These races are coming down to almost a photo finish.
They really are. They really are. And a lot of times in these longer races, that turn at the wall is what can make or break the swimmer. When you have a race where you have 2, 4, even 6 turns at the wall because of the overall length of the event, that's where you make up your time. Final heat of this event, heat 6 of 6. Lane 1, Caitlin LaValle of Merrimack. Lane 2, Abby O'Brien of Concord. Lane 3 is Jess McGregor of Goffstown. Lane 4 is Katie Selby of Merrimack. Lane 5, Joanna Dillaway of Goffstown. And lane 6, Jenna Sheeta, also of Goffstown. Goffstown swimmers again in the water in lanes 3, 5, and 6.
Once again, 2, 3, and 4 seem to be neck and neck.
So right now, lane 4, Katie Selby of Merrimack, just slightly ahead of her competition, Jess McGregor of Goffstown. Jess coming into the event with a seed time of 1:01.79. Katie with a seed time of 1:02.45. But Katie is definitely trying to be the faster one of the two here.
They are right there, neck and neck, stroke for stroke there.
And this is going to come right down to it at the end. Jess is just slightly pulling ahead, and I think she will touch it. And she does. Jess McGregor in lane 3 of Goffstown, taking it with a time of 1:01.37, which beats her seed time of 1:01.79.
She pushed the gas there at the end and pulled ahead.
Very well done. Event 12, boys 100-yard freestyle. We have 2 heats in this event. Heat 1 in the water for Merrimack in lanes 2 and 3. Ethan Matt and Ben Haddad, and Nick Charest of Goffstown in lane 4. Swimmers in the water at the horn. Ben Haddad in lane 3 got out pretty far ahead of the competition right at the dive. He will make his first touch well in the lead. About a half body length over Nick Charest, but now a full body length. Ethan Matt, his teammate from Merrimack, bringing up the 3rd place position.
That separation from turn time is just really showing how difficult these races can be with just that small element.
A well-placed kick off the wall can make or break the swimmer for sure. A little bit of a stumble or hesitation at the wall, and you can easily lose a 1 to 2 second time in the water.
Which is, it doesn't sound like that much, but in swim it's quite a bit.
And it will definitely be Ben Haddad of Merrimack taking the lead with a time of 1:12.45. He beats his seed time of 1:13.22. Following up for the 2nd place position will be Nick Charest of Goffstown in lane 4 with a time of 1:20.10, which beats his previous time of 1:21.06. Heat 2 of 2. In the water for Goffstown in lanes 1 and 2, Parker Bell and Ryan Lau. Toby Stevens in lane 4 for Merrimack, Jace Castellano in lane 5 for Concord, and Matthew Jones in lane 5 for Goffstown. Jace Castellano in lane 4. I think I said lane 5 by accident. And it looks like we have a scratch. We do not have a swimmer in lane 3, which should have been Toby Stevens of Merrimack. So right now the lead is Jace Castellano from Concord High in lane 4. And a race between Ryan Lau and Matthew Jones in lanes 2 and 5, with Parker Bell bringing up that 4th spot. Ryan Lau is surging well, maintaining his speed. Matthew Jones stumbled just a little bit on that turn, trying to make it up now. But it is going to be difficult for them to catch up to Jace Castellano of Concord. He's got a good body length lead coming down to the finish. And the race is still on between Ryan and Matthew in lanes 2 and 5. But it will be Jace Castellano at the wall with a time of 1:01.86, if I'm reading that correctly. And that beats his previous time of 1:03.15. Second place in that event was Ryan Lau. Time of 1:04.74, which is just tenths of a second slower than his seed time of 1:04.56. Next event. This is the start of the long events. These are the 500-yard freestyle events. First up will be the girls. In the water in lane 1 for Merrimack, Abigail Forbes. Lane 2 for Concord High, Lexi Quinn. Lane 3 for Merrimack, Muriel Lebelchik. Lane 4 for John Stark, Sarah Ferguson. And lane 5 for Merrimack, Stephanie Matt. As we mention each broadcast, this is the longest event that we have each night. It is 20 times up and down the pool. This is where the swimmers have to really pace themselves, understand where they are, where their strength limits are. It's easy to worry about another swimmer getting ahead of you, but if you're pacing yourself well, you won't think too much about it. At the same time, it is a little bit of a balance because you don't want to give up too much of a lead. You may not be able to catch up on it toward the end. So Broden, tell us a little bit about yourself. What have you been doing?
So I've been volunteering for GCV for about 3 years. I became an employee in the fall. And my job title is like backup meeting recorder or somewhere along the lines.
How do you fit all that on a business card?
I don't. But I also do like sporting events for the school and stuff, helping other volunteers out and things like that.
And you're a sophomore at Goffstown High?
I'm a sophomore, yes.
Excellent. Any big plans for college? Are you starting to think that far ahead yet?
I would like to go into something with video production involved.
Boy, I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
For those of our viewers who may not be aware, Broden is the son of our Goffstown television administrator, Adam McCune. Adam, of course, doing a fantastic job running that program and has been for several years. We talk about that at each event.
And it's always helpful to have great volunteers.
Absolutely.
As well. And volunteering options are always open and make my job easier, too.
Staff at GTV do make volunteering very easy for folks who are interested. All you have to do is get in touch with Adam McCune at GTV. Let him know that you're interested in doing something, whether it be running a camera, whether it be performing audio commentary. Nice thing about the audio commentators is you can kind of do it, however you want that will best fit your style. Some folks like Rick and I like to do the traditional one-person play-by-play, the second-person color commentary. Some folks like swapping off the play-by-play. You can just mix it up, have a little bit of fun. It's all for the kids anyway, and just trying to get exposure and recognition for the sporting events that our town has going on.
You can also make just a normal show as well. Any Goffstown resident can use the studio space and elements we have available at GTV.
That's right. Now, if I recall, the only limitations on that are you can't be it for promotion of a commercial product or
I believe
things
so.
of that
and
nature.
Yeah, I think that's about it. So it looks as if I was not counting laps, but
Nope, that's okay. We, to be perfectly honest with you, we tend not to. This is one of those events that we just sort of let the event play out. You'll know when you get down to the final lap. You'll hear one of the officials will ring an old-fashioned metal bell, so an actual handheld bell. They will ring that bell for the swimmer who is in the lead to let them know that they are on their last lap. And it is at that point where you will hear all the teammates who are gathered on all sides of the pool begin to get very loud. That's the point where they start cheering their fellow teammates on, giving them that extra bit of motivation to get through the event.
so the bell is like the checkered flag in car racing.
That is exactly correct. That's exactly what it is. A very good analogy. I was actually surprised to see 5 swimmers in the water for this event tonight. It's not one of the more popular events.
I can see why.
Yeah, traditionally we usually have about 2 to 3 swimmers for the 500-yard.
I'm going to guess there's only one heat for this event.
For the girls, yes, there's, well, so for the overall event, there's they actually combine the heats into one event number. So we have the girls at heat 1 and the boys at heat 2.
Oh, here's our final lap.
There's your bell.
The checkered bell.
The checkered bell. That's great.
They need to like actually print like a checkered pattern.
That would actually be funny.
So it looks as if lane 5 is in the lead at the moment.
And as I mentioned, you can now really hear that surge of support.
Yeah. I can barely hear myself in my headphones.
Yes, they do get loud.
Lane 5 is going to take first. Lane 2 is going to take second. And 3 third.
So Stephanie Matt from Merrimack, who did not come into this event with a time, is now bringing up the rear. So it looks like lane 4, Sarah Ferguson of John Stark takes first place. Lane 2, Lexi Quinn of Concord High is in second, and Muriel Belchik is in third place.
6 minutes. I don't think I've ever swam hard straight for 6 minutes.
It's something we talk about each event, the amount of stamina and persistence that you need to swim this event.
We still have people going here. I didn't realize that.
We do, yep. So in lane 1, we have Abigail Forbes of Merrimack, and in lane 5, as I mentioned, Stephanie Matt of Merrimack. Both swimmers coming into the event with no time. So this is a first-time test for the two of them.
See, just me personally, I don't think I'd ever be like, yeah, I think I'd want to do the 500 meter. Just like, I'll just dabble with it. Just do it one time as a test.
I think the phrase you're looking for is glutton for punishment.
Yep, that's about right.
So we'll see if it happens tonight, but one of the things that you often will see is that all of the teams will begin to cheer on the last swimmers in the water, which is a great display of sportsmanship.
I believe this will be the last lap for both of the swimmers in the water. If I'm reading correctly, yeah, I believe it is.
And it's hard to see from our angle, but you'll notice that the folks who are down at the end of each lane have a sign that has a red block on the end after all the numbers. So after they get through using all the number blocks, they will flip it over to a bright orange or red block, and that signals the swimmer that they're done. Lane 1 will take 4th place. Abigail Forbes of Merrimack. And lane 5, for some reason, did not register a time. Okay, in the water for the boys version of this event. Lane 2, Gavin Roby for Merrimack. Lane 3, Evan Whaley for Merrimack. And lane 4, Joshua Muller for Concord High.
No Goffstown participation?
No Goffstown in this event. Every now and then we do, but we don't have very many swimmers who enjoy swimming this?
Again, I can see why.
And if you're the type of person who likes to read the last page of a book before reading the book, this is the type of event for you. This is where most folks will fast forward to the end. Okay, who won?
I wish I could do that at the moment, but
Yeah, this event tends to be less of a competition between swimmers and more of a competition with the swimmer's self. They're trying to beat personal times. They're trying to build their stamina. They're trying to prove that they can do better each time they swim it.
is it a competition with themselves or a competition with their body? Just seeing if they can push it.
Probably a little bit of both. I'm sure mind over matter comes into play.
Yeah.
I'd like to take a moment to thank all of our parent volunteers who are over around the fringes of the pool with their stopwatches. This event required 14 timers, and all of our timers are volunteer timers. They are parents and friends. I actually saw a couple of Goffstown students doing the timing duties, and we would not be able to run the event without them, and I literally mean that we would not be able to run the event without them. The event cannot start until we have the requisite number of timers ready to go.
They're giving up a lot of timers.
They are.
And that is for the folks still watching this event that did not skip through. You get to roll your eyes at my
Very punny.
corny jokes. I'm trying to get a good angle to look at how many are left on their cards there that they're dunking into the water, but I can't
Yeah,
quite see
from our vantage point, it's always difficult to see the cards, and simultaneously very easy to lose count of the laps.
That's why we wait for the checkered bell.
That's why we wait for the checkered bell. Absolutely. There's usually a direct correlation between the sound of that bell and the mouths of the teammates.
Yeah. It's probably going to be a little less in this event, as Goffstown doesn't have anyone participating, and this is a home meet for Goffstown.
Right.
So.
Goffstown and John Stark.
And John Stark, correct. You were saying it earlier, it does feel warmer than it normally does.
Yeah, it actually is cooling off a little bit now, which is nice, but when we first arrived tonight, certainly it was substantially warmer than usual in here. I think that tends to surprise a lot of folks too. It's the middle of winter time, so folks expect that it's going to be a normal heated environment. What they don't realize is that we've got folks who are basically running around in, nothing but swimsuits, and they're the ones that the temperature is set for, not the spectators. So when you're coming to a swim event, always best to dress in layers.
Not warm layers, but layers that you can eventually take off.
Absolutely.
There's the bell.
There's the bell in lane 3 for Evan Whaley of Merrimack, heading down for his final 50 yards.
It's actually neck and neck here between the two Merrimack swimmers.
I believe that lane 2 is actually a lap behind.
Oh.
So in lane 1 at a time
That's
of 5:14.39 will be Evan Whaley. He is a good 13 seconds slower than his seed time of 5:01.60. And that is a trend that we've seen pretty much all night tonight, with the exception of the boys 100-yard freestyle. Almost every event tonight we have seen substantially slower times than what we've seen folks coming in for seed times. Just seems to be a tough night all around for everyone.
Gonna wrap the race up. Oh, nope, just kidding.
Taking second place in lane 4 is Joshua Muller of Concord High. Josh came in with a time of 5:27.76, and he takes a time of 5:28.20. So not quite as far falling off of his seed time as Evan was in lane 3, but still a little bit slower. Just waiting for Gavin Roby of Merrimack in lane 2 to wrap up his turn. This should be his final touch.
I believe it is. It is.
And at the wall for a time of 6:35. And Gavin came into this event with no time, so that will be his time. Next event, event number 15 out of 22, girls 200-yard freestyle relay. Heat 1 of 2. Starting off for Goffstown in lane 2 will be Eden Locke. Lane 3 for Concord High will be Sophie Kuchenbecker. Lane 4 for Merrimack will be Kaylee Thistle. And right now, Sophie Kuchenbecker for Concord High. Boy, she started off strong, but Kaylee Thistle of Merrimack has actually overtaken her and will touch the wall first. And it looks like we had a little bit of a switch up in the Goffstown team. Phoenix Irish is actually the first swimmer in the water. And in the water for Merrimack now should be Kayla Sanchez, and for Concord High in lane 3, Katarina Ahms. Phoenix is making her way back to the wall. She will be replaced. I'm actually not sure now because they've mixed it up a little bit. So the 4 swimmers for the Goffstown team should have been Eden Locke, Phoenix Irish, Justine Watterson, and Jess McGregor. And unfortunately, identifying them when they're in the water is next to impossible, so we will just refer to them as the Goffstown team for this event.
Most sports, that's quite easy, but if you're in the water with a hair cap on,
and no number on your uniform.
and no number too.
Yep.
I believe this is Justine Watterson going into the pool.
Okay. And that would put it in line with her being the 3rd swimmer on the team. And Justine kicking off the wall and returning. She should be replaced in the water by Jess McGregor. And in the water for Concord High should be Joanna LeMahieu. But taking first place will be that Merrimack team in lane 4 with a time of 2:15.60. They had no time coming into the event. Actually, none of the 3 teams have a team time coming into the event.
If that's McGregor, she went pedal to the metal there.
She did. And that will secure a 2nd place finish with a time of 2:41. And bringing up the rear will be that Concord High team. That should be Joanna LeMahieu finishing it up for that team with a time of 2:49.55. Heat 2 of 2. Should have 6 lanes of swimming going on with this heat. Lane 1 for Concord High, Katie Gaudette. Lane 2 also for Concord High, Rhea Burns. Lane 3 for Merrimack, Lauren Brennan. Lane 4 and 5 for Goffstown, Jenna Sheeta and Alyssa Sangillo. And lane 6 for Merrimack, Lillian Langlois. There's the whistle telling the swimmers to head up onto the boards. And at the horn, they are in the water. It's going to be a tight race between lanes 2 and 3, the Concord High and Merrimack teams. And neck at the wall, making their turn.
Still neck and neck.
Rhea Burns and Lauren Brennan, Concord and Merrimack respectively, heading back to the wall.
That turn that we were talking about earlier didn't set them back at all. They both hit it perfectly, it seemed.
It did, but it will be Merrimack touching by a fraction of a second. Replaced in the water by Katie Selby and Lauren Dusevich for Concord High in lane 2. Katie Selby is picking up an even greater lead. She's now almost a full body length ahead of the Concord High competition.
Oh, Concord got under lane there. She lost her spot in her lane and also lost her cap at that point.
That's an unfortunate setback for that Concord team. In the water in lane 3 for Merrimack is now Caitlin LaValle. And getting into the water for Concord is Lexi Quinn. But this event has changed up a little bit as Concord now fights to get that second place spot back. But right now it looks like lane 4, Jessica Smith for Goffstown is keeping it away from Concord. And in lane 4 now for Goffstown, Lily Carteret. Tegan Bevacqua in lane 5 for Goffstown. Excuse me, Hannah Laidlaw for Goffstown in lane 5. And that Merrimack team will take first place with a time of 1:55.13. Not quite fast enough to beat their seed time of 1:48.46.
Concord did end up pulling ahead at the end there.
They did for that second place finish.
Just by a second.
And Goffstown's team taking third place in lane 4. See how the Goffstown team in lane 5 does. And they will be sixth place in lane 5. Next event, boys 200-yard freestyle relay, the exact same event we just watched, only with the boys. There will only be one heat for this event. Concord, Merrimack, and Goffstown squaring off. Lane 2 will be Concord's Jay Blasco. Lane 3 will be Merrimack's Toby Stevens. And lane 4 will be Goffstown's Ryan Lau. And we have Toby Stevens of Merrimack taking an early lead, making his kick at the wall. But boy, he's getting some tough competition from Jay Blasco of Concord. Ryan Lau of Goffstown bringing up the rear. Getting into the water for Merrimack in lane 3 will be Evan Whaley. For Concord will be Jace Castellano. And for Goffstown will be Parker Bell. Concord and Goffstown going to have a tough time of it catching up to Merrimack right now. Evan Whaley is increasing his lead. He's a full body length and a half ahead of the competition in lane 2. Replacing him in the water will be John Hillard. John Hillard is in the water. In lane 2 for Concord will be James LeMahieu. And in lane 4 for Goffstown is Elliot Anderson. James LeMahieu of Concord is actually making up a little bit of time on the Merrimack team, as is Elliot Anderson. In the water for Merrimack is now Gavin Roby. For Concord is Joshua Miller, and Alex Estano will be in the water for Goffstown. I think this one's going to go to Merrimack, though. There just is not enough swimming pool left.
I don't know.
Tight finish between lanes 2 and 3. And it is lane 3. Lane 3 touching by a hair at 1:45.01. Lane 2 at 1:45.08.
0.07.
And Goffstown coming in at 1:47.
0.07. Another one coming down to like fractions of fractions at this point.
It is. Yeah, these races can change very quickly. And again, a lot of it comes down to those wall kicks. A lot of it comes down to the strength of the final runners. Event 17 of 22, the girls 100-yard backstroke, heat 1 of 2. In the water for Goffstown in lane 1 is Acacia Locke. Lane 2, Natalie Deslitz for Merrimack. Lane 3 for Merrimack, Shelby Maston. Lane 4 for Concord High is Sarah Rappel. And lane 5 for Merrimack is Stacia Wolszak. And as I'm looking, I see that we have a scratch in lane 5. That should have been Stacia Wolszak. So we only have 4 swimmers in the water. Acacia Locke in lane 1 had a little bit of a tough time making her turn at the wall, but she is still giving Natalie Deslitz in lane 2 some competition. And it is a very tight race right now between lanes 1 and 2. Acacia Locke of Goffstown and Natalie Deslitz of Merrimack. Acacia is just barely holding on to a lead. Coming up to the wall, reaching out to make her touch. A little bit of a smoother turnaround on that. But she gave up a few precious inches to the Merrimack swimmer as they come down to the finish. And it looks like she will pull it off. In lane 1, Acacia Locke should take first place. And she does with a time of 1:28.31. Coming into this event with no recorded time, so that will be her seed time. Followed by Natalie Deslitz in lane 2 and Shelby Maston in lane 3. Waiting on Sarah Rappel of Concord High in lane 4 to finish up. And Sarah touches the wall with a time of 2:07.11. Heat 2 of 2. In the water for John Stark in lane 1 will be Casey. In the water for Concord High in lane 2, Rhea Burns. Lane 3 for John Stark, Maeve Hunt. Lane 4 and 5 for Goffstown, Jessica Smith and Eden Locke. And lane 6 for Concord High, Lily Fifield. And right now we've got a neck-and-neck race between lanes 2, 3, and 4, but it looks like Maeve Hunt for John Stark in lane 3 gets the wall kick first, holds on to her lead by about a foot, followed closely by Jessica Smith of Goffstown in lane 4. And Maeve will touch the wall and make a return first. Still followed closely by Jessica Smith in lane 4. Maeve coming down for her final turn off the wall. She's about a half a body length ahead. Reaching out, turning, and kicking. And she is off the wall. She's now increased her lead by about a body length and a half over Jessica Smith in lane 4. And she will take this event. Maeve Hunt for John Stark in lane 3. And it will be a close second by Jessica Smith in lane 4 for Goffstown. Third place in lane 2 for Concord High will be Rhea Burns. Excuse me. Next event, event 18 of 22, boys 100-yard backstroke. Same thing we just saw the girls do. 1 heat, 2 swimmers. Jay Blasco in lane 3 for Concord High. John Hillard in lane 4 for Merrimack. Swimmers taking their positions at the mark. And at the horn, a good lead in lane 3, Jay Blasco of Concord High. Jay coming into this event with a seed time of 1:06.01. John coming in with a seed time of 1:15.90. Very strong kick off the wall by Jay Blasco in lane 3. That's given him about a body length's lead. One of those situations where it came down to that strong kick off the wall, and that really propelled him. John Hillard appears to be losing a little bit of steam early on. He's going to have a tough battle to make up some time. Jay Blasco at the wall, making his kick for his final run down the lane. John Hillard now about a half a lane behind. Again, Jay Blasco with a seed time of 106.01 for Concord High. He will be touching the wall at 107.92. And John Hillard coming down to his last few feet. He will be touching the wall with a time of looks like 118 and some change. A few seconds slower than his seed time of 115.90. Next event, event 19, girls 100-yard breaststroke. 2 heats, heat 1 of 2. In the water for Concord High in lane 2, Mary Moran. Lane 3 for Merrimack, Jessie Mayhew, and lane 4 for Concord High, Katarina Ams. Start of the event, a very close race between lanes 2 and 3, Mary Moran and Jessie Mayhew, Concord and Merrimack respectively. But it will be Jessie Mayhew at the wall, making her turn back. A little bit of a lag there when she touched the wall. Got to be careful with those. That's just the sort of thing that can cost you. Jessie maintaining her lead. Jessie coming into the event with a seed time of 143.25. In lane 2, Mary Moran with a seed time of 149.76. And Katarina Ams in lane 4 with a seed time of 148.17. Jessie now pulling ahead by about 2.5, almost 3 body lengths over the competition. And unless something changes, she will easily take this event. Jessie at the wall for her final turn. Mary Moran making her kick off the wall. And Katarina Ams in lane 4 making her kick off the wall. And coming down to her last 6 feet, it will be Jessie Mayhew touching the wall with a time of 139.01, which beats her previous time of 143.25 by 4 solid seconds. In lane 2, Mary Moran will touch the wall with a time of 148.52, it looks like, if I'm reading that correctly. Beats her previous time of 149.76. And Katarina Ams coming in at 153. Heat 2 of 2 in the water for Concord High in lane 1, Sophie Kuchenbecker. Lane 2 for Merrimack, Kaylee Thistle. Lane 3 for John Stark, Anna Ishak. Lane 4 for Merrimack, Hannah Prevost. Lane 5 for Goffstown is Tegan Bevacqua. The race is on right now. Lane 3, Anna Ishak of John Stark has the lead. She is followed closely by Hannah Prevost of Merrimack in lane 4. But Anna will touch the wall and make her kick back, and she opens up about a half a body length lead. This race is Anna's to lose. She's coming in with a seed time of 123.74, which is 4 solid seconds over the next swimmer, Hannah Prevost in lane 4, who has a seed time of 127.78. By all accounts, as I say, this should be Anna's race to lose. Coming up to the wall for her final kick. Anna kicks and turns, a good strong push off. Hannah Prevost in lane 4. Tegan Bevacqua in lane 5 in that 3rd place spot. The battle is on for 4th and 5th between lanes 1 and 2. Coming down to the last 15 feet of the pool. And it will easily be Anna Ishak of John Stark with a time of 126.02. Followed closely in lane 4 by Hannah Prevost of Merrimack with a time of 129.26. And Tegan Bevacqua will come in at 135 and some change, which beats her previous time of 137.60. Next event, event 20. Boys 100-yard breaststroke. In the water for Goffstown in lane 2, Nick Charest. For Merrimack in lane 3, Andrew Winters. Lane 4 for Goffstown, Ethan Edwards. And lane 5 for John Stark, Carter Duclos. And Ethan Edwards in lane 4 jumped right out ahead. Just continues to surprise the strength that he has developed as a swimmer this year, but he's got some tough competition in Andrew Winters. Good strong kick off the wall. And Ethan is just barely holding on to that lead by a head. But Andrew Winters is now starting to pull ahead.
You were mentioning Ethan's strength, and I play volleyball with him, and that man can hit. When he gets his hand on the ball, he can hit pretty hard.
Nice. Ethan falling behind a little bit now. Andrew Winters of Merrimack in lane 3 has taken over the lead by about a half a body length as they come down to their final turn on the wall. Andrew Winters has touched and kicked off. Ethan Edwards making his kick. Still a body length and a half behind the competition. And Andrew Winters has just propelled himself forward. At this point, he is not going to be touchable. Just not enough swimming pool left. And it will be Andrew Winters of Merrimack touching the wall with a time of 1:22.08. That beats his seed time of 1:23. Ethan Edwards will take second place with a time of 1:28.85, beating his seed time of 1:30.55. Nice job for Ethan there with a nearly 2-second beating of his previous time. Event 21 of 22, we are down to our final 2 events. Will be the girls' 400-yard freestyle relay. 6 teams competing for the girls in this one heat. In the water for Merrimack in lane 1 will be Emily Pierce. Lane 2 for Merrimack, Lillian Langlois. Lane 3 for Concord, Lexi Quinn. Lane 4 for John Stark, Maddie Duclos. Lane 5 for Goffstown, Alyssa Sangilo. And lane 6 for Concord High, Charlotte Goebel. Waiting a moment for the swimmers to get set up as we wait for the officials. This will be a total of 24 swimmers across the 6 lanes, so there's a lot to pull together here as everyone gets into their positions and take their places.
Just a little editing note here. If we could add in cricket sound effects, that would work the best.
During these little delays that we have, absolutely.
That would take too much time. As an editor, I know that would be painful. Great.
And the swimmers are up, ready to go. Again, Goffstown in lane 5, fielding Elisa Sangilo for the first swimmer, should be. At the horn, the swimmers are in the water. Lane 2 taking an immediate lead. That should be Lillian Langlois of Merrimack. She has been fast in every event that she has swam tonight. She is followed closely in lane 3 by Lexi Quinn of Concord. And the two of those teams immediately taking a strong lead ahead of the other teams.
Just a random thought running through my mind. You see teammates cheering on the swimmers in the water. I wonder if at an event a teammate has ever fallen into the water.
That would be something to see.
And if so, would that like disqualify the team in any way?
I think it would depend where it happened. If they fell on top of a swimmer, I'm sure that could be problematic. Lexi Quinn of Concord in lane 3 has taken a sizable lead over Lillian Langlois of Merrimack. That was interesting to watch. Lillian had an early lead, but Lexi Quinn really fired up those thrusters and she's nearly a quarter of a lane ahead of her competition. In the water for Concord now in lane 3 is Lauren Dusevic. Lauren Dusevic already halfway down the lane on the first of her 4 legs up and down. And in the water for Merrimack is Melanie Hutchinson. Again, Goffstown swimmers in lane 5. Hannah Laidlaw will be the next swimmer in the water. Swimming also for Goffstown will be Rita Peace and then Acacia Locke. But right now, the team to beat is Concord High in lane 3, Lauren Dusevic, with a very easy lead. Got to see if Melanie Hutchinson from Concord High in lane 2, or excuse me, from Merrimack in lane 2, can make up any time for that Merrimack team. It's going to be tough to do. That gap does seem to be closing, though. It looks like Lauren Dusevic in lane 3 is starting to show signs of fatigue, preparing to be replaced by Abby O'Brien. And in lane 2, Stacia Woshak will take over for Melanie Hutchinson. And suddenly it has become a race again. Abby O'Brien in the water for Concord High in lane 3. Stacia Woshak for lane 2. And what was an easy half a swimming pool lead by Concord has now become a half a body length. And this race has suddenly changed. It will be up to the final 2 swimmers for both teams, Natalie Deslitz for Merrimack and Rhea Burns for Concord High. When they get in the water, they will be the ones to determine how this turns out. Stacia Woshak is falling off just a little bit. She was doing a good job making up that lead. Now she's tiring. Abby O'Brien will make it to the wall first to maintain that Concord High lead as she is replaced in the water by Rhea Burns. In the water now is Rhea. Coming up for Merrimack in lane 2 is Natalie Deslitz in the water. And Rhea just took right off and has once again increased that Concord High lead to a good half of the swimming pool. Lane 2 for Concord, Natalie Deslitz. Try though she may, will not be able to catch up to the speedster that is Rhea Burns. Getting ready to get in the water for Goffstown in lane 5 is Acacia Locke. As Rita Peace comes up and touches the wall, in lane 5, Acacia Locke is in the water for Goffstown. As Rhea Burns for Concord High in lane 3 makes her final touch of the wall and heads into the finish. Followed in second place by Natalie Deslitz of Merrimack. And that Concord High team has absolutely crushed this event. A time of 4 minutes and 31 seconds. Just slightly slower than their seed time of 4:28 by about 3 seconds.
What an odd race here.
John Stark in lane 4 will take second place.
Started off with a large lead, cut down to a short lead, cut down to an even shorter lead, and then brought back up to a large lead.
How quickly these races change. And I'm going to apologize for anyone viewing this event. It looks like I completely miscalled that. Somewhere in the rush of Merrimack and Concord having a go at it early on, the John Stark team in lane 4 actually managed to slip in there and make up some time that I missed. So John Stark did come in second place, not Merrimack as I was predicting. And that is my error. I apologize for that. In my defense, trying to look through these balloons does not help.
No. Nice to be festive, but kind of blocks a little bit.
Yes. So good performance by the John Stark team. Certainly don't want to take anything away from their efforts. We're coming up on the final event of the evening, event 22, the boys 400-yard freestyle relay. There will be 3 teams in the water. In lane 2 for Merrimack, Evan Whaley. Lane 3 for Concord High, Joshua Muller. And lane 4 for Goffstown will be started off with Parker Bell. Swimmers are on deck. At the horn and in the water. Close race between lanes 2 and 3, but it is the Merrimack team, Evan Whaley, who will touch the wall and turn first, followed very closely by Joshua Muller of Concord High. Parker Bell taking up third position in lane 4. Hanging on to that lead by a very slim margin. Evan Whaley is coming down for his final turn. He's followed by about a half a body length by Joshua Muller. They both make their turns at the wall. And Evan will get back to his home wall first. Replacing him in the water will be Andrew Winters. And in the water for Concord High in lane 3 will be Jace Castellano. Jace Castellano immediately grabbing the lead in lane 3. Pulled that lead away from Merrimack team as soon as he hit the water.
Jace has had a great night.
In the water now for Goffstown is Ethan Edwards. Yes, Jace Castellano has been performing very well from what we've seen. Concord High holding on to that lead by about a body length. Jace Castellano over Andrew Winters. Lane 4, Ethan Edwards is hoping to make up some time for Goffstown. Heading down to the wall, Jace Castellano in lane 3 will be replaced by James LeMahieu. And Andrew Winters in lane 2 will be replaced by Ben Haddad. James LeMahieu hoping not to give up that lead that his teammates have fought for. So far, he is not. Not only has he not given up, he has increased it substantially. Ben Haddad not able to keep up with him. James LeMahieu has now taken about 3/4 of a pull length of a lap over Ben Haddad. Coming down to the wall for his final turn. Again, this is the last event of the evening and the last event at home for the 2019 Goffstown swim team. As James LeMahieu comes down to the home wall, he will be replaced in the water by Jay Blasco. In the water now for Goffstown is Matthew Jones. Matthew struggling to make up some time for his Goffstown team, as that Concord High team just keeps on pushing. At the wall in lane 2, Ben Haddad will be replaced by Ethan Matt. And Ethan Matt is now in the water. Matthew Jones making his final turn for Goffstown in lane 4. He will be replaced in the water by Ryan Lau. But And Ryan Lau is now in the water for Goffstown. And in lane 3, Jay Blasco for Concord High will wrap up this event with a team time of 4:02.56. Not quite fast enough to beat their seed time of 3:53 and some change. Making their final turn at the wall in lane 2, Ethan Matt for the Merrimack team. Heading down for what should be his final touch on the wall. Ryan Lau in lane 4 for Goffstown. And Ethan Matt for Merrimack is touching the wall with a time of 4:42.03. Beats their team time of 4:47 and some change.
It's going to be the last touch of the wall for a Goffstown team.
Not quite. They got one more. Oh, no, it is. Yep.
Yeah, okay. At home, I should say.
All right. And that concludes our final event for our final home meet of the 2019 Goffstown High School swim team season. We will be having a couple more away meets. I'd like to take a moment to thank all of our volunteers, folks who are doing the timing, officials, and of course Goffstown Television for supplying the equipment and some of the help along the way for getting these meets televised and out to you folks to view. Thanks for supporting us, and we look forward to seeing you at events next year in the 2019 to 2020 season. For Goffstown Television, this is Jeremy Jones with
Broden McCune.
Have a wonderful evening.